Hello, Victor. How are you?
Hi, Nicola. I'm great. Thank you.
Good. What's new? What have you been up to lately?
What I've been up to lately? Well, something that excites me a lot, I think, in the last years that's very conscious now is we people spend so much time at work. And I would like really that we have a great experience there, that we feel alive, brimming with energy, creative, connecting with people, and coming back home really filled and rewarded from that experience. So that's, I think, what has been the tone of my work lately. And it excites me also. Yeah.
That's very interesting. And what do you think is the key factor for us to really enjoy the time we spend at work and not just drags ourselves there and back home every day?
Well, I think there is one resource which is very fundamental for what our experience at work looks like, and that's energy. And that's something that we are not very trained at, and we don't know really what to do with our energy and how to optimize our energy. And I think especially as leaders, because I do a lot of leadership development work, that's a resource that's fundamental. And therefore, I've started this program called Wholesome Leadership, which is really about learning how to live and to lead with integrity, in wholeness.
That's interesting. And it's interesting that you mentioned leadership also. Before we get started into the leadership, I just realized many of the people watching this probably know you because you've been such a major part of the learning and development scene here in Serbia for the past decade or so. But just for the new people that are here, for the youngsters, give us a little quick introduction, who you are, what do you do, what are you most interested in, just to introduce yourself to the new people that don't know you yet.
Well, I do mostly personal and leadership development for the last 22 years. I have myself been leading teams or organizations, projects of different size and geography. And I'm a very passionate traveler also. I love to know the world outside and also the world inside. So I think that's the one out breath on Victor.
Perfect. And now that you mentioned this term, wholesome leadership, and somehow I feel that it's been the key phrase maybe when it comes to leadership in the past year or so, and I feel it's the big trend of 2019. I keep seeing this phrase everywhere. So maybe you can break it down for us and explain to us finally what is wholesome leadership and why is everyone talking about it lately?
Well, I think wholesome leadership is about, we are not optimally using our energy usually. Two of the inefficiencies I've seen in myself and others I work with is we either block energy and create stuckness, or we leak energy and then we create waste.
Right. And how does it appear like in everyday life? What do you mean when you say block energy and leak energy?
Yeah, that's where my thinking was going also. I think here's an example. Like a very common way we block energy is we withhold. We don't tell what we really think. We don't tell how we really feel. And we do it for a good reason often. We do it because we don't want to confront, we don't want to create conflict, we don't want to jeopardize a relationship or our career. And at the same time, what we create by withholding is we are creating stuckness inside. We are piling up frustration very often. This frustration eats us from within and eats away our power as leaders. Another thing that withholding does is we're actually starting to disengage from the work because there is already a barrier, or we disconnect from the people we work with because there is something unsaid and unexpressed. So, and it just diminishes our overall performance and experience at work and our leadership strength.
Right. And I see how it's connected to what we started with the way that for us to enjoy our time at work, we really have to manage our energy well, make sure that it's not leaking, that it's not boiling up inside. That's very interesting.
I feel like, the new generations want to have fun at work and want to have a great time at work. It's not like you do work and it's a sacrifice and then after work you have a life.
Right. Yeah. And it's also the feeling of fulfillment that you're enjoying it, you feel that you're doing something useful, you're contributing to maybe to the world around you, but you're also benefiting something for yourself and you're developing every day at work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about another example, more on the leaking energy side. I gave you one on the blocking energy. A very common one I've seen is when people don't say their no's. You know, like you get called to do something and you have an internal no, but you don't want to say that no because you want to please your boss or because you want to be in good terms with people, you want to be perceived as nice and cooperative. So you don't say the no, and then what happens is that no is still there, and we start procrastinating, we start finding excuses. Very often, unfortunately, we also create sickness that way, because, you know, if we don't say the no, our body says the no at some level. So, and then we are just creating more drama for everyone, and we are inefficient. It leaks a lot of energy out of us and others.
Right. And so when you look at the younger generations, and I'm sure this is a big factor for all the young people watching, and I can feel it myself, it's hard to say no when you're maybe the youngest in the office or you're new at work and you feel that you have to say yes to everything, you have to accept.
Yeah.
So what is it that we, the new generation, the youngsters, what can we do to get to that point where we trying to develop this no for ourselves?
Yeah. Well, I just want to reassure you that it's not only the young generation. I've seen people also experience that still have a hard time there. And to your question, what can we do? There is a lot. Like there is a workshop I'm working on right now that is really training a lot of new skills and a lot of new scripts around how do you say the no in ways that are not disconnecting you from others, in ways that are not breaking your reputation at work, but actually, on the other hand, they're making you more respected, they're making you more effective and more valued. So there are ways. Yeah.
Good. Tell us a little bit more about the workshop. I'm really curious to hear about what are the topics that are going to be there, and what's the framing like, and what can the people get from that workshop that you mentioned?
So the way the workshop is built, it's a 3-day workshop in class, and then it's followed by a 3-month period, which is more like remotely supporting each other in building some new habits of things that we learn in the workshop. And the workshop, I would say, is really taking this whole concept of wholesome leadership and living and leading in integrity to very practical day-to-day skills, tools, practices we can apply. It's also, I've based a lot of this work on a model that was developed by the Hendricks Institute called the 4 Pillars of Integrity, that I have found very useful in walking this path myself in the last couple of years. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, I'm really interested about this concept. You said there's a 3-month process after it, and it's very unusual, especially here in Serbia, for the training to have such a learning process and then really a learning journey for itself. So maybe you can tell us more what the participants, what can they expect from this learning journey, and what will they get from the follow-up process after the training?
Yeah. So great. They will be getting a few prompts about things they can do each week that will be building the new muscles. And they will get also an opportunity in a small group of people to get on a virtual call and discuss some of their difficulties, what they're struggling with related to the topics, and also get some support around that. There will also be some webinar, and there will be a 66-day challenge also that they will take for the next 3 months, and each day they have to devote 5 minutes to something. So there'll be lots of things, and I want to make it clear, this will be optional. You know, how much everyone will make out of those 3 months, it's a choice. But they're meant to really support the creation of new habits and new ways of thinking.
It sounds like one of those things that the more you give, the more you get back. So I really like that mindset, because the people can really invest and get a lot in return. And also the social factor of being a part of the group that grows together. I think it's priceless to have that in a virtual environment.
And I've seen in these programs, people stay connected even later, informally, which really gives them a sense of community, a sense of mateship that helps and makes it even more exciting. So.
Awesome. Maybe you can give us a little teaser, maybe something practical, a tool, a powerful question, a model, anything that we can implement today to get closer to this wholesome leadership idea and this living and leading with integrity idea.
First thing that came to mind is I have literally across my bed, I've wrote a question there, which is said, how are you stopping your circulation today? And to me, it's a great question that I usually look at the end of the day. And just what are the different ways that I've blocked circulation during the day? And it could be as simple as the way I'm sitting. I might be sitting in a way that I've locked my pelvis and I can't circulate energy freely. As simple as that. It can be more subtle, like I'm not feeling a feeling and I'm creating some blockage internally. Or I'm postponing a difficult conversation because it's difficult, and that's eating a lot of energy instead of me just having the conversation and resolving things and moving on. So it's a great checkpoint for me on a daily basis. What's my, debit credit on energy?
I love it. So how am I blocking the circulation? That's the question.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's one that you can do every morning, every day, during lunch, when you're walking your dog, something that you can always come back and just reflect on how am I blocking. I love it. Awesome. So just one more time for everyone watching, the training is Leading and Living with Integrity. You can find out more about it by visiting www.ggroup.rs, or you can write to us directly on training@ggroup.rs, and we'll make sure to answer all your questions. And that's it. Victor, thank you very much for your time. I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm more than excited to see you soon in Belgrade and do this again maybe sometime.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.